everyone. Welcome to our course, Green Economy from China's Stories. Think about what changes have occurred on the Earth now, compared with decades ago. Please watch this video.
随着社会的高速发展，高楼大厦平地而起，而在人们生活日益富足的同时，我们居住的地球也悄悄发生了变化。还记得小时候，天是那么蓝，水是那么清，在夏日乘凉时还能看到满天的繁星。然而到今天，天空越来越灰暗，河水也是干的干，脏的脏。这才几十年，地球就发生了翻天覆地的变化。人类活动引起的全球变暖，各种工厂排放的垃圾和废气废料，砍伐森林而带来的土地沙化，导致沙尘暴越来越常见。各种海洋垃圾时刻危害着海洋生物的生存环境。地球的环境变化已经成为了人们热议的焦点。一张地球颜色的对比图让不少人心疼不已。我们可以看到，几十年前的地球是蔚蓝的，此外还有大片的绿色。而在几十年后的今天，地球的颜色已经变得灰暗，而当年地球上那一抹绿色，如今也已经变成了灰黄的沙漠。不少网友看到后纷纷表示，地球已经被毁成这样了，保护地球环境已经迫在眉睫。怎么样，小伙伴？回忆自己的少年时代，你认为地球最大的变化是什么呢？
In the video, we can see huge changes on the Earth because of human activities, and global environmental problems are increasingly serious. According to the 2010 China Environmental Bulletin, although some ecosystem functions have improved, the overall ecosystem services are weak. The declining trend of biodiversity has not been effectively halted. The loss and depletion of genetic resources and harm of invasive alien species are increasingly severe, especially in recent years. Due to reclamation, overgrazing, and ecological land destruction, China's ecological and environmental problems remain very severe. On October 18, 2017, Xi Jinping pointed out in the report of the 19th CPC National Congress that we must ensure harmony between human and nature, realize and persist that lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets, and implement our fundamental national policy of conserving resources and protecting the environment. To act on the understanding of lucid waters and lush mountains are invaluable assets, we first need to understand how to quantify the value of waters and mountains in the ecosystem. This involves the value of ecosystem services that we will talk about in this lesson. Before learning the value of ecosystem services, let's see what are ecosystem services. In short, ecosystem services refer to benefits that humans obtain directly or indirectly from ecosystems. Ecosystem services mainly include input of useful substances and energy into socioeconomic system, acceptance and conversion of waste from socioeconomic system, and provision of services directly to human beings, such as clean air, water, and other amenity resources that we all enjoy. After learning the concept of ecosystem services, let's learn their classification. In the traditional sense, a service is actually a commodity that is purchased and consumed simultaneously. Unlike services in the traditional sense, only a small fraction of ecosystem services have access to the market. Most of them cannot be bought and sold in the market, and it is even difficult to find counterpart compensation measures in the transaction. According to the ease of access to markets, or the adoption of compensation measures, ecosystem services can be classified into ecosystem goods and life system support functions. Ecosystem goods refer to natural products that bring direct benefits to human beings, including food, medicinal resources, processed materials, landscape and entertainment materials. The life system support functions mainly include carbon dioxide fixation, climate regulation, hydrological regulation, water resource supply, soil and water conservation, waste treatment, raw material supply, and scientific research, education, aesthetics, and arts. The Millennium Ecosystem Assessment Organization, from the perspective of ecological functions, classifies ecosystem services into supply, regulation, support, and cultural services. Supply refers to the provision of food and products. Regulation refers to the role of maintaining the Earth's biosphere. Support refers to the provision of living space for life on the Earth. And preconditions for the existence of all ecological resources. Cultural services refer to the provision of opportunities for leisure, recreation, scientific research, education, aesthetics, arts. Of course, some scholars simply divide ecosystem services into final services and intermediate services, where final services refer to those ecosystem services that are directly provided to and enjoyed by human beings, and that are closely related to human life. Intermediate services refer to ecosystem structures, processes, and functions that are not final services, but are used to generate final services. After learning the concept and classification of ecosystem services, let's see what is and why we should assess the value of ecosystem services. Ecosystem service values refer to estimates of natural resources and ecosystem service functions using economic laws. Ecosystem service values can be divided into use values and non-use values, where use values include direct, indirect, and option values. Direct values include significant physical direct values and non-significant physical direct values. Indirect value refers to functional values of ecosystems or service values of the environment. Option values refer to the future use of potential functions of biological resources and biodiversity by individuals and society, including direct and indirect uses, option use, and potential use. Non-use values include heritage value and existence value. Heritage value refers to the costs willingly paid by present generations to reserve certain resources for future generations. Existence value refers to the costs willingly paid by people to ensure the sustainability of certain resources. Assessment of ecosystem service values refers to the quantification of the value of natural resources and ecosystem service functions. The assessment of ecosystem service values are generally conducted through certain ecological and economic research methods to manifest the value of natural resources and ecological environment in the form of value quantification, which allows people to understand ecosystem functions more intuitively, to better manage ecosystems, and provide reference for maintaining healthy development of natural resources and ecological environment. Significance of ecosystem service value assessment is reflected in the following aspects. First, the assessment of ecosystem service value helps raise people's awareness of environment, The assessment will ultimately show the value of services provided to humans by natural ecosystems in the monetary form, and then we can publicize the value through film, television, books, journals, newspapers, and other media. In this way, we can effectively help people quantitatively understand the value of ecosystem services, raise their understanding of ecosystem services, and awareness of environmental protection. Second, the assessment of ecosystem service can foster the change of commodity concept. We know that in the traditional sense, commodities are labor products to be exchanged, which overemphasizes the role of labor in the course of commodity production and value formation, while ignoring the role of ecological environment that influences the quantity and quality of human labor during commodity production. The value of commodities, in addition to their original value, should also include the ecosystem service value that are not exchanged in the market. In this way, the study of ecosystem service value breaks the traditional concept of commodity value and finds a reasonable source of funding for conservation of natural resources and ecological environment, which has important practical implications. Third, the assessment is conducive to setting reasonable prices for ecological resources. Ecological resources have both material product values and functional service values that can be used by humans. The assessment of ecosystem service can provide a scientific and theoretical basis for rational pricing and effective compensation of ecological resources. Fourth, the assessment can facilitate the integration of environment into the national economic accounting system. We know that the current national economic accounting system mainly takes the gross national product, or gross domestic product, as the main indicator, which focuses only on the accounting of economic output and growth rate, but ignores ecological resources and environmental conditions on which the national economy depends for development. Therefore, assessment and studies of ecosystem service values will help include environment into national economic accounting system and ultimately make contribution to the achievement of green GDP. Fifth, the assessment of ecosystem service value helps properly assess the environmental protection measures. Most previous cost-benefit analyses of environmental measures have ignored loss and appreciation of functional value of the life support system provided to human beings by ecosystems, leading to incomplete results. The ecosystem service assessment enables people to understand the full value provided to human beings by ecosystems and facilitates the rational assessment of environmental measures. Sixth, the assessment can lay a foundation for ecological functional zoning and ecological construction planning. Through the quantitative study of regional ecosystem services, we can accurately identify the significance of ecosystems in the region, discover the spatial distribution features of ecosystem sensitivity, ascertain the priority for protecting ecosystems and protected areas, and provide a scientific basis for ecological functional zoning and ecological construction planning. Seventh, the assessment can promote regional sustainable development. The assessment and studies of regional ecosystem services can enable people and governments at all levels to overcome their cognitive limitations and properly address the relationship between socioeconomic development and ecological environmental protection. and realize that only when we protect natural resources and environment will society and economy be developed sustainably. Today, I have mainly introduced the connotation of ecosystem service value and its assessment significance. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you. See you next time.